Welcome to TMZ Live. Charles here.
Michael Babcock.
Here, did you forget your name for a second?
Switch it up.
Yeah, all right. Cool. All right, we have Travis Kelce, who we've been expecting some showbiz news from him, right? He's been out here in Hollywood for several weeks now.
Yeah.
And we have a hint here about what gig he's landed, and it comes courtesy of his barber. One other thing about Travis Kelce on New Heights, their podcast, he and his brother Jason, they talked about and acknowledged that their lives have changed dramatically. Their podcast has changed dramatically as far as the number of people tuning in because of all of Taylor Swift's fans.
Right.
They acknowledged that. They had Lil Dicky on, and Travis had to acknowledge something else about hooking up with Taylor Swift.
We've got a lot of new fans. Not sure if you've heard of them. They're called Swifties.
Yeah. I've heard all about them.
For those that
How
don't,
you guys doing with all this?
It's listen, it's
fun,
not
man.
changed that much for me, but
I'm having a blast in life, baby.
Yeah.
Just flying high.
As you should.
Enjoying it all. Bringing new lives to the football world. And
yeah, I think it's the best thing ever.
Opening the football world up to new things.
I love it. But I think a lot of people who would maybe expect to hate on it actually love it, and they acknowledge they love it because it's just there's something so American about it or something.
Appreciate it.
I hate to say it, American, but there's something like just classic about it.
I don't know how I did it because she wasn't into sports. So I don't know how I did it.
Well, you did it because you said you called her out on your
no, 100%. I know exactly how I did it.
I'm confused about his confusion about even if she doesn't like sports. You're a 6'5", very handsome, very wealthy man.
You heard him acknowledge at the end of it. He's like, I know exactly how I got her.
Hi, my name is David. I'm with beatGrade, calling from Los Angeles. What I feel that a lot of people want to say is what's more entertaining about this is what's going on around the game with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It's not really about the football, and I think that what Lil Dicky was saying about the it feels so American, I think really it's more that it feels like a high school reunion, and that's the reason why we're so drawn to this. You know, like the popular prom king and prom queen in high school. We want to just be in tune with this relationship so much because they're just like the popular kids in school. But you know, shout out to Travis Kelce. I'm sure he's happy. That's good. And he's going to probably make his transition like The Rock into acting from football and sports.
He would love that. Maybe Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity is the first step. By the way, interesting that he has his own smock with his Chiefs number on it.
I didn't even notice that, Charles. Yeah.
Travels with his own smock.
Yeah, right. Not only his own barber, but
there was something in the background when that he was looking at on this monitor, apparently, while he was getting his haircut. Are you smarter than a celebrity? So, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we haven't heard a lot of people speaking out in Hollywood defending Diddy, but we got someone, Jason Derulo, asked him what he thought about all the silence from Hollywood, and he had a few words, not a lot, which I think is interesting also. You can hear what he said about Diddy's case when we come back. The silence has been deafening, is the way some people have described the celebrity reaction to the federal investigation into Diddy after, really, ever since the day that his two homes were raided by federal agents. He's become toxic as far as Hollywood. There are so few people speaking out either in defense of him or even just about the case.
It's like nobody wants to even utter his name, Charles. And for a guy, obviously, who's been famous for decades and has all of the celebrity contacts.
Right, has celebrity friends.
It's been nothing.
I mean, other than last week when we had Stevie J on here.
He's the one guy.
Right, and remember, Stevie J was right in the middle was at his home during the Miami raid.
Yep.
So he's personally involved, but all of Diddy's friends been pretty silent. We actually ran into one of them in New York City yesterday, Jason Derulo. And Jason Derulo and Diddy have worked together in the past. So we asked him about this, about why he felt people were remaining silent at this point. Here's what he had to say.
I know that you worked with Diddy, you know, and he's helped your career a lot. Do you feel like people should be giving him some grace, or at least giving him the grace of, you know, saying, you know, he is innocent until proven guilty?
I believe in that. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. Sure.
Do you feel like they're kind of like going too hard on him, maybe? I appreciate you. Thank you, Jason.
I do think it's interesting that he wouldn't say anything more than that.
Right.
And yes, there's the part where he said, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. I think the bigger part of that is how little he wanted to say.
I completely changed my mind on this. At first, I thought, okay, he's getting support. But yeah, it seemed like he wanted to be as far away from that question as he possibly could have been, Charles.
And you can hear his handlers saying, let's get in the car. They don't want him to say anything more than the most obvious, which is someone is innocent until proven guilty. But it's interesting with Jason because of his history with Diddy. You know, he wrote songs for Diddy back in the 2000s. Diddy really helped launch Jason Derulo. So you might expect someone like that to really get in his corner. And from the looks of that soundbite, nowhere close.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, you know, Jason Derulo probably wouldn't be who he is right now if it weren't for Diddy and the help that he gave him as he breaks into the industry. But, yeah, Charles.
This is a case of, look, I think folks, as much as they admire Diddy and enjoyed working with him or partying with him, the fact is, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, I do think it's glaring, though, that there's been no character witness. Come out and say, I don't know what happened. I wasn't at the parties, but I know Diddy to be a good person. X, Y, and Z. Here's what. That hasn't happened. Nobody.
It's hard to imagine it because no one wants to sort of board what they perceive to be a sinking ship in cancel culture. And they're like, I need to save myself and get a lifeboat. I'm not going to get on board with Diddy, even if he is clean.
And if you believe that there is something to one or more of the allegations, you also don't want to say that because if he does not get charged, does not get convicted,
right,
and then everything
there could be
blows
some retribution
you don't
Diddy on the other
be,
side of this.
Right.
I will say this, too, and it goes to show you this could be also why celebs not speaking out. Jason Derulo says what he says to us. Already, he's getting trolled online. 50 Cent blasting
50
him
Cent
online.
went after him.
So if you support Diddy, you're going to get called out.
We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to be shifting gears. There is some evidence that maybe Kim Kardashian and her ex-husband, Kris Humphries, have smoothed things out. We're going to show you who she was. I know, they were only married for like 2 minutes.
I know, but I never thought I'd hear that sentence.
We're going to show you who she was hanging with last night at the Laker game, sitting courtside. Welcome back to TMZ Live. Kim Kardashian had a brush with her past when she went to the Laker game last night. She was sitting courtside, Natch. Now, it wasn't involving Will Ferrell. I guess you could say it's Will Ferrell adjacent, quite literally here. But the guy who's sitting between Will and Kim is a very close friend of Kris Humphries. And you may be going, why do I know that name, Kris Humphries? Oh, that's right, Kim's ex-husband. The guy she was married to for, 72 days?
Yep.
But that guy who's sitting next to her is Peter Cornell. He was a groomsman.
There he is.
Yeah.
You think that this conversation would be slightly awkward. Obviously, he was one of Kris Humphries' best friends, best enough for exactly what you guys said. He was a part of the wedding. But they looked very chatty, looked kind of flirty. It was a very animated conversation. But you gotta wonder, like, what is happening here? Of course, he is, like, so good looking. I feel like anybody would want to chat him up anyways. And he actually was a basketball player. That's how he knows Kris Humphries. Now he's a real estate agent. And if you guys also recognize the name, it's because in Selling Sunset, Christine and Emma, they were fighting over this guy, and there was a whole bunch of drama about if Christine was engaged to him. And anyways, he was a part of that as well. So yeah.
I'll say this, and that I hadn't even considered the dating stuff, but I think it obviously shows that Kris and Kim are okay. I don't. You don't think so?
Not necessarily.
What would one of your good buddies?
They might have had a conversation.
Smile and have.
I'm sure they had a conversation where it was like, "Oh, how's Kris been?"
I mean, I know you remember this, Charles. This was hell on Kris Humphries. I remember how he was treated when he played his NBA games. But
by the way,
maybe
no.
You don't think so? I mean, it wouldn't be that. Talk about violating bro code, but.
Is it still no?
I think so.
No,
if your boy was
there's
married,
got to be a latch.
No, there.
By the way. No. Peter was actually really involved with Kris and Kim because Peter actually helped them buy their house as well. So he was really really with them. But I mean, you always have your alliance to your buddy, right? So his alliance for sure is Kris. I don't know that this necessarily means that Kim and Kris are on good terms. I think maybe it's just they're both courtside. They know people are going to be photographing them, and they want to look like they're on good terms.
Looks pretty flirty.
Look, Will Ferrell's like, can I get in on a conversation? Hey, I'm over here. What about me? Peter Cornell and Will Ferrell were both in, obviously you know that Will was in semi-pro.
Yep.
Peter Cornell was in it also. At 6'11", when they're looking for basketball players, it's pretty easy to get that gig, I guess.
Hi, my name is Alfonso. I'm in Maine. I don't think this is like Kim. Kim likes her men with melanin in them, and Peter has not. So I don't think it's anything serious, in my opinion.
Well, from what we're hearing, it is not anything serious.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, I will remind you of a guy named who does not have melanin, Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
Oh, Pete.
Another Pete. Interesting.
Good point.
Interesting. Pete's without melanin on the next TMZ. All right. We are going to take a break. And when we come back, Aoki Simmons, Kimora and Russell's 21-year-old daughter, was dating that 64-year-old guy. Guess what? They've broken up.
No.
Shocking, right? As for why, well, we have a few hints. Here today, gone tomorrow. I know everyone really thought that the relationship between 21-year-old daughter of Kimora and Russell Simmons would have lasted her relationship with 65-year-old Vittorio
I
South
thought this one was for the long haul. I thought they were going to make it.
It's over. We just found out about it a few days ago that they'd been dating, but now they have broken up. And maybe family pressure had something to do with it?
I feel like it was definitely pressure from the family, from the internet, on both sides. They were both getting trolled. He's getting trolled because why are you dating a 21-year-old? She's getting trolled because why are you dating a 65-year-old? So whoever it came from, they heard it and they took heed. Now, what I am kind of wondering is she kind of posted that she was feeling depresso espresso on her Instagram story. So I'm wondering, like, did they actually break up? Did he break up with her? Because if she broke up with him, she wouldn't post on her Instagram story that she's feeling depressed at the moment. So,
oh, yes, she could.
And yeah, no, you're not going to break up with someone and then go on Instagram and be like, I'm depressed. Like,
yeah, because you want the
other
because she wants him to know that she's sad about the breakup. Even if she broke up with him, she doesn't want to make it seem like she's just like, the heck with that old guy.
She would look insensitive.
Right.
if she broke up with him because they were getting flamed, then she's still insensitive.
Everybody posts on social media because they want to present some sort of image, right?
Yeah.
They're not just doing it because, they wanted to post something. It's always to make somebody else think something.
Hi, I'm Millie from Manchester in the UK, and in my opinion, this whole situation is just screaming learnt behaviour off the back of her mum and dad's controversial age gap relationship, because in Aoki's eyes, she probably just thinks she's living her best Nepo baby life, completing all these fun little side quests, when, it's kind of learnt family history.
It's kind of, what kind of history?
Learnt family history. It's happened in the past. Kimora and Russell, it's a similar sort of vibe.
Wow.
Right, just following in the family footsteps. Well, I mean, Kimora and Russell lasted longer than...
longer than like 3 minutes.
Months.
Yeah.
Exactly. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Bernard at the Alona, Brooklyn, New York. Morgan Wallen. He's going to have to try to blame it on the alcohol and enroll in the alcohol treatment program as a form of mitigation if he wants to avoid any jail time on these 3 counts, felony counts of reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. So while that stainless steel chair didn't make contact with the cops or with anyone else, it's the mere risk of it that prosecutors are going to seek to punish, and they want to make sure to deter that type of conduct.
Yeah, and by the way, the other part of it, we haven't seen the surveillance video from the rooftop yet that actually shows him throwing it. I mean, depending on what that video shows, he may need to, if it just shows nothing but reckless behavior, then he's definitely going to need to say that it was alcohol.
Also, the other guy who didn't get the big punishment, he was not Morgan Wallen. He's a giant superstar. Maybe they don't want to give him a slap on the wrist here.
Exactly. One more.
Hi, this is Pam from Manhattan Beach, and I wanted to talk about Travis and Taylor. He's always talking about how he's so lucky how he wooed her. I think she's the lucky one. Down to earth, Midwest boy, and let's just hope there's not a breakup song anytime soon.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, Pam. We don't talk about the possibility of a breakup.
Which I learned a little earlier.
Yeah, we don't talk about those things.
She's lucky.
They're both lucky.
Yeah.
We had kind of known this was coming for a couple weeks now. Remember the reports a few weeks ago that he was in talks with the producers of the show about maybe potentially hosting it. Now it's still unclear if he actually has the hosting role, if he was appearing as a contestant on it or whatever. But one thing remains clear: when they were talking New Heights last week with Arnold Schwarzenegger, they made it clear they want to be in Hollywood in some way, shape, or form, and this just appears to be the entryway for Travis.
I think with the initial reports from a few weeks ago, which we covered, and now this, I think the evidence, it's right.
Probably hosting.
It seems
they are
pretty
shooting
obvious.
episodes today. Later this afternoon, they'll be shooting.
Right.
So
and you might want a fresh cut, right?
Right.
If you were going to host a TV show,
you would definitely want to get a fresh. But you'd also want one if you're going to be on it. as a guest.
True.
But you might not have your own smock.
Stop ruining my theory, please.
Well, you might not have your own
Right,
smock. I mean, the fact you have your own smock means you're hosting, right?
That's serious business.
They don't do that for just guests who come on. So we'll see. Probably by tomorrow we'll know for sure because they are shooting episodes today.
Right.
All right. When we come back, speaking of lucky, if you ever wondered how Lenny Kravitz keeps that incredible physique at I think he's almost 60 now.
Yep.
You're going to see his workout when we come back. It's not just the weights here that are really amazing. It's everything else. I don't know if this happens to you, Mike, but I have friends who like to troll me by sending me photos of certain celebrities, Lenny Kravitz, for instance, because we're about the same age, he's a little older, and they always go like, what did you do today?
Right.
And they sent, in fact, that photo was sent to me several times. Yeah, that's not going to happen because we got to look at Lenny Kravitz, not for me, it's not going to happen. We got to look at Lenny Kravitz's workout, and it is, don't worry about the weights.
Right. Although that is impressive.
It is impressive. The dude's working out in leather pants.
No.
In a mesh tank top.
That's his look, Charles. I did not think even Lenny Kravitz would wear that to the gym.
I don't know how you work out in leather pants.
I mean, he's got all the money, so it doesn't matter, but you can't wash those things, I don't think. I've only worn leather pants a few times.
Wait, you have worn leather pants?
This show's almost over.
Wait, when were you wearing leather pants?
At a time. In high school.
Yeah, you got to throw those out after the workout,
Yeah, you
Lenny.
can't do that.
Come on. We'll see you tomorrow.